Greetings, traveler. I am Akira, a representative of the Twilight Society and the curator of these tales. Today, we will embark on a journey which is reborn as Deku with the System Part 1. As always, if you want to support the creator of these works, their Patreon and story link will be in the description. Now, without further ado, buckle up and enjoy the story.
Chapter 1: The Gacha is strong in me. I immediately open my eyes. The first thing that hits me is the image of a dude with the tightest costume I had ever seen, buffs like no other, golden hair, and 32 snow-white teeth. Next was a mix of more than one thing. The body I had finally gotten used to after 18 years wholly changed, the sound of a woman speaking Japanese, which I understood, and other small but confusing things. I didn't move, my mind being in too much chaos to even correctly command my body. I tried falling back asleep thinking of this as a dream, but it didn't work, so I thought someone kidnapped, maybe aliens? No, everything looks too old. Magicians? No, too few grimoires and not enough smell of books. The dude from Boku no Pico? Not enough ice cream. Luckily, I could finally move, but I gained only a face against the ground. The sound of hurried steps outside the room made me panic. My breath was becoming unsteady, my eyes were shaking, and my head is throbbing with pain. Too much information in too few seconds. The steps got closer and closer until they were in front of the door of the room. I was just a step away from either punking or fainting, but unlike what I feared, when the door opened, the only thing I saw is a short, chubby woman with green hair, wearing an apron with the words, Best MOM, and holding a spatula as if it was a weapon. The feeling of puking disappeared, but I still almost fainted. I recognized her. She was Izuku's mother from My Hero Academia. Did a cosplayer fucking kidnap me? Izuku? She rushed towards me, throwing the spatula to the side. Izuku. Did I get fucking transmigrated? And that was the last straw. I fainted. An unknown amount of time and memories later, I understood my situation. It is the usual setting. Izuku's soul died due to his feeling of loneliness and sadness. A random ROB saw the problem, decide a random person, and put him inside Izuku's body so the story would go forward. Only one small problem. First, Izuku already met All Might. He didn't get one for all. Of course, I had to be put in a what if scenario. Being transmigrated to a world where being a gun is normal wasn't enough. I also had to lose my unique form of power in this world without necessarily becoming a villain, or training until I become bald. I slowly opened my eyes this time and got happy because I was finally able to move my body again. Maybe my soul had to get used to this body. Don't know. But this time, instead of the All Might poster, right in front of me, a golden screen similar to the ones from the gamer manhwa could be seen. Congratulations, you have gained the random system, the system that doesn't know itself. The what? By fusing with a new host, the random system must spin 5 gachas, functions. 5 golden rules appeared right in front of me, and before I could read what was written in them, they began spinning at an impressive rate. After more or less 5 seconds they stopped, and a new screen appeared. You have gained the functions, status, quest, trees, dungeon, class. Status. Shows the current skills and physical/mental strength of the host in a numerical form. Quests. The system will give random quests, and depending on the quest the reward varies. If failed, no penalty will be given, and the knowledge of being a failure is enough. Trees. By completing certain actions you can gain skill trees, which completed through the use of skill points, will give different rewards to the host. Dungeon. The system has created random dungeons throughout the world which can be completed only by the host. Dungeon difficulty will be shown before entering. Class. By doing some pressed actions you can gain classes, which can be bought through class points. Apart from these functions, the system has an already preset gacha function. Everyday host will be given a ticket, random. Use it to get a reward, and use more than one at the same time for better rewards. More tickets, better rewards. Bad side, I got a gacha. The good side, I got a gacha. I slowly get up from the ground, causing the ice packet on my head to fall on the bed. I didn't waste a second and I opened my status, only to get disappointed. Info. Name, Izuku Midoriya. Age, 14. Race, human. Class, none. Stats. Strength, 5. Endurance, 7. Dexterity, 10. Agility, 5. Intelligence, 20. Wisdom, 10. Willpower, 10-5. Charisma, 4. Perception, 15. Titles, slave. Skills. Trees. Quest. Gacha. Too many pieces of information and things to read, but let's start from top to bottom. I skipped name, race, and age and went for the class button. I clicked on it, but my dream of shooting a fireball got crushed. Current obtainable classes: Artist, Observer, Slave, Guardian. Current class points 1. So I either become a slave, a depressed man without an ear who got soup throwed at, a creep, or a tank. Tank it is, but later. I tried to click on the stats like strength to understand what they did, but nothing popped, so I went for the titles and clicked on the only one I have. Slave. You have most of your life as a slave, thus causing your willpower to be lower than a normal human, reducing willpower by 5, and can be removed by beating your owner. Seems like a fight with Bakugo is a must. Next, I clicked on the skill sections, and a very small window appeared. Observe LV.1. Your eyes have trained yourself to observe people for long periods of time, which makes it easier to catch on to details by skill level, %. Drawing LV.1. Your ability to present your creativity on paper and your drawings are skill level, % better. Pain resistance LV.1. You have suffered so much that you got used to it. Pain gets numbered by skill level, %. This smells too much like the gamer. A copycat maybe? Next came trees. Trees. None. Due to the presence of the class system, to unlock a tree you must first unlock a class. I sighed and lastly clicked on the quest tab, and like I expected, I currently had no quest. I removed all the windows that had been created until now, and lay my body on the bed, thinking of my future. What should I do? Well, of course I must get stronger than anyone in this world first. This means training stats and skills, getting classes, completing quests, dungeons, trees, and of course my main possibility for power, gacha. But gacha is random, so what is the best place where the highest number of quests, training structures, dungeons, and maybe other things depending on what I get from gacha, asterisk psi UA it is, yay. New quests. Training for physical power. Goal, 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 10-minute plank, 10 kilometers run, 10-minute yoga session. Reward, +1 on random physical stats. Repeatable. Training for mind power. Goal, read books. Reward, depends on the book. Repeatable. Get an UA. Goal, get selected to become part of Class 1A. Bonus goal, get first place. Reward, 10 gacha tickets, slave title removal. Bonus reward, 1 gacha, power, ticket. Time limit, 1 month until UA exam. Me and my fucking mouth, and on second thought, I only have 1 month? I immediately got up, and readied myself, for what? For the income of a grinding session. Chapter 2 First Class. But before that, I open up the class screen and use my only class point to unlock the class Guardian. You have selected the class, Guardian. Guardian. A guardian is someone who pushes through hardship with only his body, not using a shield but being the shield himself, ready to protect others or die trying. Effect: boost endurance growth by 2 times, boost strength growth by 1.5 times, unlocks the guardian tree, boosts the growth of all defense/resistance skills. By unlocking the first tree you have gained 10 tree points. With a big smile, I open the tree section and finally realize its true function. Guardian's Tree. Tree points 10. Bash LV.1 by 3 points. Hard Bones LV.1 by 5 points. Shout LV.1 by 10 points. Several other skills similar to the ones that a tank usually had could be seen, and from each starting from them trenches leading to new advanced skills could be seen but not bought, and right at the peak, all the trenches pointed at the same skill. Unbreakable LV max by 10,000 tree points. I sighed, knowing that it would take a while before I reached that skill. I looked back at the start, and decide on which skills I should pick. First I removed all weapon-related skills. I currently have no weapons and no way of obtaining them unless through gacha, and even if I obtain them I'd need a sword or shield to use the class skills, so I decide to buy skills that I can use in all type of situations. Hard Bones LV.1, 5 points. Your bones have been trained to never break and always carry your body, which lowers the chances of bones breaking bones by skill level, %. The chance to still being able to move even with broken bones, chances get higher at higher levels. Stomp LV.1, 3 points. You are a guardian who protects others, but what if you can't reach him? You make him fall. By infusing your legs with all of your strength you can create a small tremor to make enemies stunned. Higher level stronger tremors and stunning status last longer. Rock steady LV.1 2 points. To protect others you must always stay on your feet and never fall, which lowers chances of stumbling, getting pushed, and losing balance by skill level %. Reaming points 0. I used all my willpower to not try out stomp right away, due to the chance of worrying Izuka's, my, mother even more. Still feels somewhat wrong, but for now, I will live this life with what I have. I head for the drawer and take the least All Might themed training clothes and I head downstairs, but not before checking the time in my phone, which compared to the one I had in my universe, it's the same? Is this world so focused on heroes that technology hasn't even advanced one bit? A thing to look at later on. I get on the first floor, and almost got crushed by small green broccoli. Izuku, are you okay? Do you feel pain anywhere? Do I need to call the doctor? Never mind, we're directly going to the hospital, she said while trying to drag me away. Fortunately, due to my mother not so strong body, and the effect of rock steady taking effect, I was able to resist getting pulled. Mom, calm down, I am okay. I had a bad dream and feel down, no problem. Anyway, since it's pretty early I was thinking about going on a walk. But okay, just pay attention and don't go near dangerous areas. I nod and head outside, not noticing the worried look from my mother, tears almost falling from her left eye. Before starting the training I do 10 minutes of yoga, so to lower the chances of hurting my body, and then I start my 10 kilometers run. 1 minute in and I was already out of breath. I had done just around meters, but to my pleasure, I received a notification. By reaching your body limit you have gained a +1 in endurance. By training the main aspect of your class, Guardian, you have gained a 3 point. By running for 1 minute you have gained the skill Running LV.1. Running LV.1. Represent your ability to run, raises speed, and lower stamina consumption by skill level %. With a smile on my face, I continued running, the soreness of my muscles, and the feeling of suffocation, slowly fading with the level ups of running and pain resistance, while a steady +1 in 3 points and endurance arrived every 3/4 minutes. By the end of the 10-kilometer run, I had made my running and pain resistance reach levels 3 and 5, while my endurance reached 11 and I had gained 9 tree points. I opened the tree panel for the Guardian class and I buy a skill I had seen but wasn't sure about buying. Now I was. You have bought the skill, Recovery LV.1, 8 points. Recovery LV.1. Your body is a machine that will never fall. Your body's stamina recovering speed is raised by skill level %. I take out my phone and headphones, immediately remove all the songs that have singer All Might, and decide to put on some hard rock. Let's go with some simple funk. Nothing pumps blood like it. Fed Up Ghost Main. After setting the mood, I drop to the ground and start with the push-ups. It took only 3 for my arms to start screaming in pain, but I focused my mind on the music and the skills, plus the skills did the rest. After 13 minutes I had finished the push-ups, and my arms felt like jelly, so I stayed unmoving, letting recovery do the work. Thanks to this training session I gained 2 points in street, 1 in end, and 1 in pain resistance. By the time I could feel my arms again I gained a level of recovery. From my position, I moved to position my stomach to the sky and I start doing sit-ups. This time it took more than 20 to start feeling the burning sensation on my stomach, most likely thanks to the combination of my endurance and resistance skill. It took way less than before, and I completed the 100 reps in 5 minutes, gaining another 2 points in end, 1 in will, and a level up in recovery. By the time I had finished all my training sessions, I was heavily breathing on the ground, every fiber of my body hurting like never before. But thanks to the heavy training session, for me, I made my STR and N reach 11 and 15, while my AGI reached 8, and my will reach 13, -5. My skills instead now looked like this. Pain resistance LV.8. You have suffered so much that you got used to it. Pain gets numbered by skill level %. Recovery LV.5. Your body is a machine that will never fall. Your body's stamina recovering speed is raised by skill level %. And last but not least I gained a whooping 13 tree points, which I will save for now. I checked the time on my phone and noticed that I still have around an hour before I have to head back home. So with a smile, I click on the quest tab, which currently has an exclamation point, and when I opened it I received the notification for the completion of the training for physical power quest, which rewarded me with a point in AGI, useful considering it is my lowest physical stat. My current lowest stat is Chow, which considering my scrawny body and my inability to talk to girls makes sense. In neither of these lives I was a Casanova, either as Izuku nor as the previous me. I slowly get up from the ground, and with a smile, I look at my tree and tab sections. It's time to try some skills. Chapter 3 Skills are what make the class. Before testing the already bought skills, I decide to rest a little and see what other skills I could buy. In the end, I decided to leave it like that and train the skills I had bought until now, starting with Stomp. I take a big breath and I will for the activation of Stomp. An almost invisible red aura covers my leg, which raises and in less than a second smashes against the ground. In a 5 meters radius, everything trembled, but no apparent damage could be seen on anything. The only visible effect of this tremor was the sound of animals running and birds flying away. I tried to use it again on the other leg, and the only thing that caused this skill was soreness in the legs. Nothing seemed to change inside my body. Wanting to try something, I first jump and then activate Stomp, and like I hoped, a gravitational force drags me down, causing my imbued leg to smash against the ground. The tremor was bigger, but so was the soreness. The last attempt was to walk while using Stomp. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to due to the low level of the skill and my low endurance. I look up my skills and the current level of Stomp is 3 upgrades. I am so going to recreate this. I think while heading towards the nearest tree. I take a very deep breath, raise my hand in a boxing pose, and start hitting the tree at full force. Result? Cut knuckles, paining hands, but no broken bones and no blood. I continued punching it until some blood started coming out of my knuckles, realizing that going further would do more damage than good. I look at my status. Hard bones had reached level 4, pain resistance level 7, and lastly, I had gained hand-to-hand combat, making it reach level 2. Hand-to-hand combat LV.2. A weapon isn't only made with iron, represents your ability to fight with your body, raises damage dealt to others, and reduces damage dealt to self by skill level %. I think I am starting to become a hoarder of skills, which is very good. Lastly, I trained rock steady by simply training my body balance, standing on my leg, doing handstands against a tree, and other things like that. By the time the skill reached level 5, I had to get back home, but not before washing my hands on a nearby river to remove the blood from it. This way, the only thing proving that I had trained was the reeking smell of sweetness coming from my body. I run home, which resulted in another level of running, and by the time I had gotten home, my stomach started rumbling at the smell of fried chicken, or is it called katsudon here? Anyway, it smells good, and I am starving. I rushed inside, but before I could reach the kitchen, a spoon stopped right in front of my face. Immediately take a shower, and only then you will eat. But dash. Before I could say anything, a strange purple aura covered Mom, so I looked down and headed to the bathroom to take a shower. What surprised me though, was what could be seen after I had gotten out of the shower. Just this morning, I had a scrawny body covered in scars. Now a normal-looking body, still with scars, could be seen. In less than 3 hours, my body went from sick to nearly normal. Is this the power of a status screen? Fucking up. I also noticed the shapes of my face becoming a little sharper and the dark circles around my eyes becoming less present. I opened my status, and as I had thought, my cha went from 4 straight to 6. With a smile, I put a towel on and head towards my room, putting on some basic clothes. I go downstairs and right on the table I can see a very big plate of katsudon just waiting for me. I rush to it and start wolfing it down. Slow down or you will choke, Mom said while putting a glass of water in front of me. I wolfed down another piece and moved towards the glasses of water, drinking it in 3 big gulps. I let out a sigh, and before eating again I look at Mom again. Mom, can I talk about something? Her face became serious, and she sat on a chair right next to me and started talking. I knew this day would come. You see, Izuku and Mom and Dad love each other a lot. Dash. Not that type of talk, I said with red cheeks, Izuku's memory making me feel embarrassed. Then what? You know the UA entrance exam is in 1 month. You know me more than anyone. You know more than me that I might not pass. But I want to put it my all. I only have 1 month, but I want to make it count. She didn't say anything. And I want to train as much as I can, even if the training makes me faint. I want to show the world what a kid like me can do only with perseverance. She still didn't talk, but just as I was about to talk again, she rushed towards me, catching off guard, and hugging me with all her strength. I love you, Izuku. No matter what you do, you always be my child. If you want to train and try to become a hero, Dash, she says and then looks me in the face. I am proud of you. she says with the warmest smile I had ever seen. Thank you, Mom. One last thing, do you know where Dad's books are? Chapter 4. Reading is fun. After 15 minutes of eating, I had a small chat with my mom and then headed for the attic of the house, where a lot of Dad's items that he couldn't bring with him are. Strangely, Izuku had no memory of what he looked like since he left when he was young, and no photos of him were around the house. And of the memories, Izuku asked why there weren't any, and she simply said at the start they were supposed to go with him, so he had taken all the photos. But in the end, we stayed here, so all photos remained with Dad. Yes, something smells fishy, but currently, I have no clue what my father could look like. I only know his name is Hisashi Midoriya, and that he has a fire-breathing quirk. If even this information is true or not, I don't know. I finally reached the attic, and after holding my breath to open the door and let some of the dust get out, I got inside and started to search for the books. To my surprise, apart from the books, I also found training weights and martial arts manuals. Was my father a hero? Or did Mom wish to be one? Well, not my problem, because I will be sure to grind my skills with these things. I take out all the books and decide to start with the smallest one, around 100 pages, a thriller book with an assassin, a pretty basic setting but good as a starting point. Thanks to Izuku's memories, apart from understanding and speaking Japanese, I could also read it, or all of this would have been a problem. Silence spread in the room. The only sound hearable is my breath and the almost systematic turning of pages. I was so focused on the story I didn't even notice my reading speed slowly increasing, reaching a point no normal human should be able to do unless the words are stationary. I was so focused that I didn't even notice the arrival of the last page, which kinda shook me. Did I read that fast? I take out my phone to check the time and I noticed that it had only taken me around an hour to finish the whole book. Thinking it might have been caused by a new skill I had ignored, I open up my status, and surprise, surprise, a new skill appeared. Speed reading LV.4. Your brain is used to reading, makes reading faster by, skill level, %, gets boosted by, intelligence, %. From the reading, I also gained a point in wisdom but not intelligence. Was it because it is already pretty high? Already having my status open, I click on the quest tab to get the reward from the quest. Training for mind power. Reward. Since you have read a 139-page book thriller, you have gained the skill tracker LV.1. Tracker LV.1. You have the senses to become a good detective. You can find tracks and or clues, skill level, % more easier. Not that useful for the immediate but might be in the future. I take another book, this time a romance book of around 200 pages, not my best pick, but the possibility of gaining a skill related to charm made me hopeful. I head downstairs and head to my room, only to get stopped by my mother's shout. Izuku, get down, we have guests, she said. I blocked in steps, and neither of my memories helped me interact with human beings outside the family. In my previous life I was an 18-year-old with ADHD and social anxiety, and so was Izuku, so what the fuck do I do now? I sigh while heading downstairs, and to my surprise, apart from my mother, I see next to her a woman with pink hair and small horns chatting with her. She strongly resembled a character from MHA but ignored the fact for now and headed towards my mother with a trembling smile, trying to look as natural as possible. This resulted in an almost robotic movement, but at least I wasn't trembling, resulting in my willpower rising maybe? I reach the side of my mother, I look at the woman and do a small bow. Good morning, it's a pleasure to meet you, I said with the best smile I could make, which didn't look natural at all. The woman smiles and looks at my mom. He as cute as you said he would be, she said, trying to embarrass me. It worked. I know, right? I have so many photos where he looks just so cute, but I can't find the ones where he is taking a bath. Yep, okay, and that's my cue to leave. Mom, I am heading to my room, I said and didn't wait for her answer. But as soon as I turned around, a voice came from the entrance. Mom, have you finished? I am bored. Pink hair? Check. Yellow horns? Check. Black scarab with yellow pupils? Check. Wearing casual, somewhat kinda revealing from Japanese standards clothes? Check. Of course, I had to fucking meet Mina Ashido on my first in this world. One of the friendliest members of the anime met me. A fucking concentration of social anxiety. Mina, be more respectful, I am having a nice talk, why don't you go with Izuku to his room? Oh, what a great idea, I will bring tea and biscuits in a few minutes, so why don't you both go up? Said my mom with a smile. What is she thinking? X-fucking-cuse me? Do I not have any words in this matter? Fine, but we will go shopping later, Mina said while approaching me. So? Where to? She asked me with an annoyed face, not because of me, fortunately. I wanted to say something, but like usual, social anxiety took the better of me, so I sighed and headed for my room, hoping Izuku didn't have anything embarrassing him outside of the monstrous amounts of all-might gadgets I had already hidden. I opened the door to my room, let get her inside, and then I get inside, her asterisk wink, leaving the door open. She looks around an almost empty room. There only is a bed, a desk with a computer, a shelf with some books about heroes, and a wardrobe with my clothes. She sits on the bed while I sit on the chair in front of the desk while opening the book and starting to read. When I see her taking her phone out, I sigh in relief and decide to take mine out to put some music with my earphones. Nothing better than reading with music. Not feeling like listening to rock, I decide to put on some relaxing music, deciding I'm Coldplay, and playing Sparks. The silence was never embarrassing for me while I had music, or while reading a book. In those moments my chaotic mind was able to focus, something rare. But the feeling of absolute focus became like a drug, making me addicted to music and book in my previous world, and it looks like that addiction got carried over in this world too. I continued reading for an unknown amount of time, turning page after page, while the music continued being blasted in my ears. But my train of happiness got interrupted by someone touching my shoulder. I look up and I see a way too close Mina Ashido saying something I couldn't understand. I removed my earphones and I asked her, "What? You like Coldplay?" She asked with a smile and hoping eyes. "Yeah," I said, starting to feel a little anxious. "Really? What's your favorite song?" she asked while grabbing my hand, a smile on her face and her eyes sparkling with happiness. Should have I said no? Chapter 5 Talk with a Girl and First. Viva la vida. Oh, such a good song. All make me either cry or want to fight the world, she said with a smile. Yeah, I think it kinda is the point of the whole song, or at least of most songs. Yeah, you are right, songs are supposed to make people feel emotions. If they don't, they aren't good songs. I don't answer that, hoping the discussion would end there, but instead, look down at the book I am holding back at me. You are a type for romance books? Didn't look like one, she said with a smile. No, well yes, but this is the first one I am reading. If you don't count romance manga. Don't worry, this will be our little secrets, she said with a cheeky smile. Fuck how much I want for higher willpower and charisma to make her embarrassed too. And just as she was about to say something, my mother opened the door, getting inside with 2 cups of green tea and some biscuits, my hero. But when she saw us so close, a smile formed on her face. No mom, nothing was happening. She left the food near the door and then immediately left, and oh, don't go. Now that she was looking away, I closed the book and get up from the chair, heading for the cups of tea and biscuits. I take one of the cups and start blowing on it, not wanting to burn my tongue. Mina follows my example and does the same. Silence has never been more embarrassing. Fortunately, I didn't have to say another word, because Mina's mother shouted from downstairs for her to get down since they are leaving. God exists. She turns towards me and says, "Give me your phone." "Why? Just give it to me." I comply, and before I know it, I have Instagram on my phone. I have an account, I am following her, and I also have her number saved as Mina with a heart. Before I can say anything though, is already going downstairs. God is dead. Her Instagram was already open and I saw some of her photos. I decide to make some changes and make you a student's age around 16/17. Izuku is currently 16, and will be 17 by the start of school. Writing from a 14-year-old kid's point of view is just too strange and would block me from doing some above than 14 years things. I saw some of her photos. I am an atheist. After I hear the door closing, I go back to my book and I finish it in less than 1 and 30 minutes, making my speed reading reach level 7. I got the reward, gaining 2 points in Cha, and a skill called Silver Tongue. Silver Tongue LV.1. Your ability to speak is getting better, raises the effect of your words by skill level, boosted by Cha %. I also noticed a new point in willpower. Was I seriously so scared of talking to girls? Before anyone says anything, he is not a simp, will not be a simp, he simply has zero experience with girls, kinda like me, and suffers from social anxiety, like me, combined with ADHD, making me scared of possibilities of how he can ruin the situations. And you get a kid scared of girls. I sigh and head downstairs, thinking that maybe a walk will help me. Okay, fuck it, I am training again. I change into training clothes, I pack a sack with the weights I had found in the attic and head outside. But not before telling Mom I will be back by dinner. I start running, heading towards the forest like before, which combined with the weights I was carrying, made me gain 3 levels in running, 1 point in end, and 4 tree points. Currently, I have a total of 18 tree points, so as soon as I arrived at the forest, I let recovery do its magic, boosted by my own endurance, and look at the skills I could buy. What do I need right now? I already know what the exam will be like. I need a way to attract robots and fight them while not baking down, while also being able to actually damage them, which, considering I will most likely fight them barehanded, means a lot of level ups in hand-to-hand combat. I looked a little more in the Guardian's tree and decided to buy 2 new skills. Chapter 6. Chapter 6 First Dungeon. I was stunned for a second. Seeing something like this isn't normal. In neither of my lives had I experienced something like this. Fortunately, my mind processed the information at a faster rate than normal, making me able to move just in time to evade the club aiming for my head. I rolled to the right, evading the club and causing the goblin to fall to the ground, snarling in anger. It tries to dash again towards me, but before he could I used Stomp, making the ground tremble and stunning him for a second. I then used the shoulder dash against it, making it fly for around 3 meters. I dashed towards it, and before he could get back up I used Stomp on his body 3 times, only feeling satisfied when his brain exploded under my foot. The smell almost made me puke. The feeling of killing something, removing someone's life and all that bullshit didn't really bother me, but goddamn is the smell terrible. I move away from the body and look at my status, looking for any difference. With just 1 fight I had risen Stomp level by 2, and shoulder charged by 1, while also gaining 3 levels in hand-to-hand combat, and a tree point for killing a weak enemy with Guardian skills. This means that fighting makes skill rise much faster than normal training, which makes sense since you are using skills in a life or death matter. Anyway, it's time to loot. Not like there was much. The only thing I could grab is the club, which I could use as a weapon, the only problem with its size being normal for a goblin but a little small for me, but better than nothing, I guess. While looting I noticed a new quest that had just been created. New quest. Goblin Slayer. Gold, kill all the goblins inside Goblin's Den. Reward 5 gacha tickets. Before going forward and searching for other goblins I try getting out of the dungeon, which surprisingly can be done without losing the quest or any type of penalty. But in exchange, the time inside the dungeon is the same outside. Guess I can have everything. I start looking around the forest for other goblins, trying to be as sneaky as possible, resulting in the creation of a new useful skill. Sneak LV.1. Your main weapon against stronger enemies reduces sound produced by your body while movingly sneakily by skill level %. With a smile I continue moving around, using both observer and tracker to find any clue that might lead me to a goblin. After 10 minutes, 3 levels in observer, and 2 levels in tracker, I finally found a goblin. Actually, I found a group of 3. Using sneak I moved around the group to look at their weapon. No armor or clothing. One had a bow, one a rusty short sword that looked like a long sword in the goblin's hands, and a shield, and the last one has a club like mine. First I should eliminate the one with the bow, would be seriously annoying in a melee fight. I moved towards the goblin with the bow, and just as I was about to reach him, asterisk crack, I stepped on a dry branch, alerting the group. I didn't waste a second and immediately used shoulder charge on the goblin with the bow. Next I used Stomp, stunning one of the 2 goblins. The one with the sword and shield dashed towards me. It swung its sword towards my stomach. I used the club to block the hit. Thanks to the hardness of the club's wood and the bad quality of the sword got stuck in the club, making me able to snatch the sword away by throwing the club. With now only a shield I tried to cover its face, but instead of aiming for his head, I delivered a low kick, making him fall to the ground and giving me the opportunity to deliver a stomp on his stomach, most likely killing him. Just as I was about to turn around for the other goblin, an arrow pierced my shoulder, sending a jolt of pain through my whole body. Anger started to cloud my thoughts. Instead of aiming for the nearest goblin, I decided to rush towards the one with the bow, without even using a skill. The goblin had its experience, and before delivering the first arrow had distanced itself, so before I could reach him another arrow pierces my right leg. Another jolt of pain clears my mind. I realized the mistake I had made, and immediately used Stomp with my not hurt leg, causing the previously stunned goblin to remain stunned, and the one with the bow to fall to the ground. I rush to the goblin before it can get up. I snatch its bow away from his hand, take one of its arrows from its quiver and use it to pierce his right eye, killing it on the spot. Only one left. It is trembling in fear and slowly moving away. While panting I move towards him. At this point, I should be on the ground, but thanks to rock steady, my endurance, and my pain resistance, I was still able to walk. I finally reached the goblin, and without wasting a second I simply used stomp on its head. Now that the threat was dealt with, I fall on the ground panting and heavily breathing. What the fuck did I expect? I wasn't a soldier or some kind of fighting genius. I made so many fucking mistakes in just one fight. What if the second arrow got me in the head? What if the first one did? I entered here with no weapons, no fighting experience, and without even one fighting skill above level 10. I sigh at my stupidity and decide it was for the best I simply trained the normal way for now and didn't enter any dungeon. Before going out though, I take the sword, shield, and bow with me, and swap my club with the undamaged one. I get out of the dungeon and take a look at the guardian's skills, hoping to find something that might help me heal these injuries. Or how am I going to explain them to Mom? From the fights, I received a total of 12 tree points, bringing my total tree points to 15. And my luck seemed to finally be on my side because I found the skill I just needed, so I immediately bought it and used it on myself. Small recovery LV.1. A guardian's job is to help others in any situation, but who helps the guardian? None other than himself. Boosts natural body regen speed by 10 plus skill level, %. Duration, skill level, minutes. I used the skill on myself, and apart from feeling a little lightheaded, I started feeling way better. After 1 minute I used the skill again and again until it reached level 3, and both of my injuries closed. Now the only thing left of such injuries are the blood and the hole in my clothing. But even though the injuries received, my stamina didn't. I actually felt worse than before the healing. Was it because of the regeneration? Did it consume my stamina? Might make sense since it doesn't directly heal me but instead speeds up my natural body recovery. I rest on the ground letting recovery do its job, and I start looking at the gains from the fight. Pain resistance reached level 11, stomp level 8, rock steady level 6, hand-to-hand combat level 8, shoulder dash level 5, and sneak level 6. I also gained 3 whole points in endurance for being able to resist 2 arrow wounds and 1 in willpower for making it finally reach 10. After recovery had regenerated my stamina, I take a look at its level. Level 7, growing pretty fast, but it's better like this. With a new resolution, I decided to do the training for physical power again. Of course only after hiding the weapons near the entrance to the dungeon. Thanks to my new endurance I was able to do all the training much faster than before, so after completing the push-ups without much effort I decide to wear the training weights, my father, raising my body weight by 10 kilograms, and by the time I had finished, I was as much out of breath as I was the first time. With a smile, I take a look at my current stats after I had received the reward for the quest. +1 index. Strength, 16. Endurance, 21. Dexterity, 11. Agility, 12. Intelligence, 20. Wisdom, 11. Willpower, 15, -5. Charisma, 8. Perception, 15. Skill upgrades. Recovery LV.11. Pain resistance LV.12. Considering the stats I just had this morning, I am growing at a monstrous rate. But will it be enough to reach the levels of All Might and All for One? I realize, sigh, and get up from the ground, deciding it was time to head home, still wearing the weights while continuously mapping small recovery on myself to speed up the regeneration of my muscles and so their growth. By the time I arrived home I was a sweating mess. I got inside using my pair of keys, and my mom was inside cooking dinner, but just as she was about to greet me, her face deadpanned. I forgot to clean the blood. Fuck. Chapter 7. Studying should be boring, right? After an unholy amount of don't worry, checkups for any wounds, and a long shower, I was able to finally get some rest and continue reading some of my father's books. What I noticed though after I had just finished showering were 2 small scars on my left hip and on my right shoulder, which compared to the other burn marks aren't that sickening, but I also noticed that the burns had healed a bit, an effect of small recovery. Doesn't matter, I won't refuse such good effects. I take out a manual about karate owned by my father and started reading it, hoping that I might gain a skill that I could use while fighting. The book was mostly about the soul of karate and its characteristics, and also talked about the 4 main karate styles and their difference. Surprisingly, while reading the book I gained a level in hand-to-hand combat. Guess the theory is also an important part of martial arts. It took me 30 minutes to finish the book, it being kinda small and my speed reading being at level 10. As a reward, I surprisingly received a point in both intelligence and wisdom, and also gained a skill called Battle Focus. Battle Focus LV.1. Your body is a weapon made for fighting, Your instincts will be honed for battle, and your only goal will be the defeat of your enemy. Can enter a state of focus during a fight where the world will become slower by skill level, %. Not what I expected, but still useful. So this proves my theory that I can only learn passive skills, and active skills must be unlocked through classes. This means that I need to unlock as many classes as possible to become truly strong. I sigh, and just as I was about to take another book, I was called to have dinner. While going down, my phone buzzed, something that in Izuku's memories never happened. I check what had happened, and I see a message from Mina. The message consists of an image where she is wearing shorts and a purple top that barely reached her boobs. Asterisk means message or any type of different discussion. Look what I just bought, she said after sending the photo. I looked at the photo more than I should, only after 10 seconds realizing the existence of the message. It took me 50 seconds to realize what I had to write though. Cool top. Oh, so you were looking at my boobs for this long. And oh, I sent it almost immediately. Relax, I am joking. If I was worried about that, I wouldn't have sent the photo. Bullet evaded. I reached the table and started eating, but during dinner, I received another message, but since I was eating I was only able to read it after I finished. Are you busy tomorrow? Do I say no or yes? Fuck it. Not really, why? Perfect, then tomorrow you will come with me. Asterisk why, asterisk. Asterisk because I saw your clothes. You seriously are too obsessed with All Might. Asterisk. Guess she isn't wrong. Asterisk okay, when, asterisk. Asterisk I'll be at your house by 5:30 p.m, be ready. Devil face emoji. Asterisk. Asterisk. I think I'll call the police. Asterisk. Asterisk too late, you already signed a contract with the devil. Asterisk. Mommy. We then chatted a little and I headed for my room. I was seriously too tired to train or to read a book, so I decided to get to sleep, thus ending my first day as Izuku Midoriya. I opened my eyes to the sound of my mom shouting my name, but I can't move even one muscle. Not because I would change my body, but because they fucking hurt. I activate small recovery and feel all of my muscles slowly becoming less sore. I kept it active for as long as I could while getting up, showing, brushing my teeth, and changing clothes. By the time I had finished breakfast and was about to go out to take my train to school, my muscle soreness had almost disappeared and had gained 4 levels in the skill. As soon as I got out I received a new quest. New quest. Reach school on time. Goal. Reach your school by 8:45 a.m. by running. Distance, 15 kilometers. Remaining time, 40 minutes. Reward, +2 agi, 1 gacha ticket. With a smile I started running towards school. With my new endurance, 25 kilometers was only a small run. The only problem is the time limit. I hope my agility and running skills will be enough. During the run, though, I also tried to take some shortcuts, by jumping walls, evading people, and other things, resulting in the creation of a new very useful skill. Parkour LV.1. Represent body nimbleness while running or jumping, improves reaction speed, body nimbleness, and equilibrium by skill level, % while running. By the time I arrived at school, I still had 5 minutes before my first period. I checked my gains and was happy with what I saw. +3 agi. +1 dex. +3 running. +5 parkour. Reward, +2 agi, 1 gacha ticket. I started heading towards my class with a smile. But the smile disappeared when I felt everyone stare at me, only now remembering Izuku's status at school. Quirkless kid. Which meant no superpowers, no cool abilities, and no way of becoming a hero. Add the fact that Izuku always was a strange kid, and his obsession with heroes, and you get an easily bullied kid with no friends. Why DKU? And here is the starter of this hell. I turn towards the voice, and I see a guy around my same height, with ash blonde hair, a punch-me grin, red eyes, a muscular build, and too much pride for his good. My instincts shouted at me to run, my memories filling my mind with bad scenarios, and my body wanting to tremble with fear. But I wasn't that Izuku. I am the new Izuku, and Izuku with 10 in willpower is an Izuku that can talk back. What do you want, Pomeranian? A vein popped in Bakugo's forehead, and he rose his right hand, and small explosions formed. What did you just call me? You also became deaf other than stupid Pomeranian? New quest. Fight the bully. Goal, fight against Bakugo and don't lose. Reward, depends on how well you do. Here it comes. Chapter 8 Bullies get what they deserve. Do you know how fast an explosion can launch a person? I do. I thought while preceding a right on my right cheek, making me take 2 steps backward. You fucking Deku you are to get dash, he said while approaching me, thinking he had already won. But just as he had gotten near enough I try uppercut him. Try is the word. He evades the hit, and instead punches me in the stomach. But before he could move his hand away I grab his arm, and I don't let him go. What are why dash? Before he could finish I smashed my head against his, making the both of us stunned. But thanks to the quick activation of small recovery at the start of the fight, I was able to recover first. I used shoulder dash to make him fly away, giving me time to recover. But just as he was about to touch the ground he uses his quirk to get back up and launch himself against me. I barely made the attack, the first one. Just as he has gotten past me he uses his quirk to change his trajectory, and delivers an axe kick right in the middle of my head. He moves away while blood starts pouring out of my head, covering my eyes and lips. Unknown to me a sickening bloody smile appeared on my face, which considering how I was known as the wimpy quirkless kid, made a lot of people surprised. Was I always like this? Or is this a side of Izuku no one knew? It doesn't matter, what matters is the feeling of adrenaline pumping in my veins becoming addicting, almost reaching the same pleasure I get from leveling a skill or gaining a point in a stat. He again dashes toward me trying to hit me with a punch. I evaded and counter with a knee right on his stomach, followed by a short distance shoulder charge, not as much knockback but still dealt the same damage. He falls to the ground, and just as I was to get on top of him to finish the fight, I get hit right on my face by an explosion. I am forced to take 7 steps back, the only ones making me stay up are pain resistance and rock steady. This asterisk pant is asterisk pant what you get you fucking D-dash. Bakugo stared saying while getting up panting with closed eyes. But as soon as he had gotten up someone grabbed him by his collar, and just as he had opened his eyes, they are forced closed again by a mass of green hair. Asterisk crack. Asterisk thump. A broken nose and an unconscious body ended the battle, the teachers finally arriving to stop the already finished fight. I had lost, but I would have felt shitty if I didn't at least do some serious damage to him. I slowly open my eyes, and before even starting to move I activate small recovery, trying to heal all the minor damage. With a grunt, I get up in a sitting position holding my head but still smiling at the memory of breaking Bakugo's nose. "Oh, you are up," a feminine voice says while walking towards me. I look toward the voice and the same school nurse who appeared at least once in Izuku's everyday life before my arrival could be seen. She is an elderly woman around the same height as Izuku and has a body describable as one of a witch, long bony fingers, a long pointy nose, and cold eyes. But despite all of this, she still held a warm spot in Izuku's heart. She nears me and ruffles my hair while a small glow covers my body, making all the previous pain, leaving behind a sense of tiredness slowly disappear thanks to recovery. She then takes a candy bar out of her pocket and gives it to me. "You are going to need if you don't want to faint." As soon as those words were said a low growl came from my stomach that could be heard in the room. I take the bar from her hand and eat it in 2 bites. "If you feel alright you need to go to class." I simply nod and get up from the bed, heading for the exit. But just before I could go out she said something. "You did a great job." I simply nodded and got out of the room, heading for my class. While going I checked on the progress and reward I had gained during the fight. 5 levels in pain resistance, 4 in hard bones, 5 in rock steady, 4 in recovery, 7 in hand-to-hand combat, 2 in shoulder dash, 1 in small recovery, 4 in battle focus, 15 tree points, and the reward from the quest. Which made me happier than breaking Bakugo's nose. Fight the bully. Reward class point. With a smile, I open up my class tab and take a look at the classes I can buy. Current obtainable classes: Artist, Observer, Slave, Martial Artist, Berserker, Guardian Bot. Current class points 1. 2 new possible classes, Martial Artists and Berserker. Between the two, considering my fighting style, I am more inclined to it, but still, which one should I pick? Decide which class Izuku should pick, most voted ones win. After thinking about it for a bit more I arrived at my destination, and after knocking I get inside. As soon as I got inside I felt everyone stare at me with surprise, doubt, and fear, and one last stare came from an ash-blonde Pomeranian filled with anger. Chapter 9 Second Class. I ignore the stares and instead head for my desk. "Izuku Midoriya, you finally arrived," Not only you caused such chaos this morning, but you also arrived late. Such an unworthy child. Is it even worth making him notice I didn't start the fight? That I didn't use a quirk, unlike Bakugo? That I arrived late cause my head was bleeding? Nah. I reach my desk and sit down, finally deciding on what my next class should be. You have chosen your second class, Berserker. As a reward, you have gained 5 tree points. Berserker. Your rage fuels your body. Wounds, broken bones, blood loss, nothing will stop you from destroying your enemies. Effects: speeds of STR growth by 2, and endurance growth by 1.5 times. Since you have another class, the only modifier that will be left for stats growth will be the higher ones, so x2 for both STR and end, which gives plus 20 levels to pain resistance plus boosting its growth by 2 times. With a smile, I open the Berserker tree skill and take a look at what I could buy. Immediately my eyes fell on 3 skills, and I had just enough points to buy all 3 of them. You have bought the skills, Rage, Bloodsteel, and Intimidating Presence. Rage LV.1, 5 points. Through your veins only rage goes through, a basic skill of the Berserker path. While in this state all physical stats grow by skill level, %. While in this state stamina consumption will rise by skill level, %. Must be noted that host will still be able to think rationally. Duration sad face skill level, mince. Bloodsteel LV.1, 15 points. You will quench your thirst with the blood of your enemies, while in rage killing an enemy will speed up your body regeneration by skill level, %, which can be stacked a maximum of skill level /10 times. Intimidating Presence LV.1, 5 points. You are a beast in human skin, and everyone will recognize it. You can willingly emanate a fear-inducing aura that has the chance of causing horror in your enemies. The chance is skill level, %. I also wanted to buy another skill, but I had not enough points, so I would buy it later on. But just these skills combined with my guardians, which made me a walking tank, made me a machine with the only purpose of killing, and the idea wasn't so bad. But for now, I can't test out these skills, so I will instead study the school books, hoping that I might gain some skills from them. I take out the book of the current period and I start reading it. The subject of the book is math, so apart when there were words, my speed reading skill didn't help. But by the end of the lesson, I had gained 2 levels in speed reading, 1 point in it, and had read half of the book, small boosts but still useful. The bell rings and our lunch break starts. Not having no one to spend it with and not wishing for another fight with Bakugo, I run out of the classroom, using my parkour skill to evade everyone. I decide to head to the roof to eat my lunch, but then remember that it was Izuku's usual eating spot and that Bakugo knew this, so I instead decided to eat by myself at the back of the school. I open up my bento my mom made and started eating with a smile because of the goodness of it. I take out my phone, put on my earphones and started listening to music and took out the same book I had almost finished in class to continue reading it. After around 30 minutes I finally finished my book and looked at my reward. Training for Mind Power. Reward, +2 int, Mathematics LV.1. Mathematics LV.1. Represent your ability to understand mathematical problems, speeds up all math-related thoughts, and make it easier to understand math problems by skill level, %. Not what I hoped for, but still might be useful in the future. What if I end up gaining a magician class purely based on math? That would be cool. Anyway, as soon as I dismissed the reward I received a message on my phone. I check who it is and I see Mina's name, with under it an image. I unlock my phone and take a look at the photo. On it, I can see Mina in her school uniform taking a pic of herself while holding a yakisoba bread in her other hand while doing a cute pose. Under the photo the words WYD could be read. Strangely, I didn't feel as scared as yesterday. Was it the now 10 in willpower, the near-death experience against the goblins? Or the fact I was able to fight Bakugo and break his nose? Maybe all of these combined, but anyway. I decide to take a pic of myself, coping with the pose that I had seen hundreds of Korean idols do, trying to do my best smile, which still looked horrible but not as much as yesterday, and sent her the image with the words nothing much WBU. More or less a minute later she answered back. Asterisk, who is this? Where is the Izuku who couldn't even look me in the eyes just yesterday? Asterisk. Asterisk. Do I have to seriously answer the question or are you rhetoric? Asterisk. Asterisk, don't answer. I like the new Izuku anyway. You up for this afternoon? Asterisk. Asterisk, I am. Tell me how much I should bring though. Asterisk. Asterisk, as much as you can. Asterisk. Asterisk chuckles, my wallet is in danger. Asterisk. Devil face emoji. You don't know how much asterisk. We continued chatting, every once in a while sending each other photos of our surroundings, and by the end of the discussion I had gained 2 points in charm, finally bringing it to 10, and 1 in willpower. Was I seriously so scared of girls? By the end of our discussion, the lunch break had ended and I was able to eat my lunch without being interrupted even once. Lucky. I started heading back to class, having still 3 periods to go through. Chapter 10 Date? I had just gotten home from school, a smile plastered on my face at the memory of Bakugo evading me. While in class I also finished reading a book about science and one regarding chemistry, which resulted in a total of +4 in it, and 2 skills named science and chemistry, which had the same effects as mathematics but reading their subjects. Thanks to all the reading I also gained 3 levels in speed reading. With the same smile I say hi to my mom and head up to take a shower and change into my casual clothes. Mina was about to arrive. By the time I had finished preparing, someone had knocked on the door, and I rushed downstairs, hoping Mom wouldn't do anything to embarrass me. I arrived just before she could do anything, and she only looked at me with a smile on her face. I sigh at her antics and take a look at Mina. She is wearing a pair of blue jeans, a t-shirt with a hole in her stomach, black Vans, and a black top over the higher part of the t-shirt. Compared to her I look like a child, with a green shirt, an All Might hoodie, regular pair of jeans, and All Might themed shoes. I think I understand what Mina meant when she said I need a wardrobe makeover. She looks towards me, squares me up and down, and takes my hand. We seriously need to hurry, your fashionometer is going down fast. I comply and follow her, only stepping when we pass right next to a crepe seller, Mina's eyes bulging and her mouth watering when seeing the food. I look at her, a small smile appearing on my face. You want one? I ask her. She snaps her head towards me. Yes, she answered immediately. What are the magic words? Please? No. Then? I won't make you buy clothes that cost too much. I won't make you buy clothes that cost too much. I nod and head towards the seller and order 2 crepes. I wait for him to finish them, and after taking the 2 crepes I head back to Mina, who had teleported right next to me as soon as the crepes were done. We started eating while walking, her producing a small jiggle every time she had a bite. I also started eating and neither of us talked, simply enjoying the mood and the good food. By the time we finished we had arrived at the metro, which we took to reach Shinjuku. From there we simply started walking around doing some window shopping, and only getting inside stores when Mina saw something that she thought could do well with my style. When she asked my size I said 2 sizes bigger than mine. Why? First, baggy clothes. Second, my body is going through a constant improvement at every point, changing the structure of my body. If, by the time I reach 100 strength I need to buy new clothes when I had just bought them, it would be annoying. At around 1830 we finished all of my money and decide to head back. Where to first? Your house? I asked her. Oh, this is just the first date, Tiger, calm down. No, wait, I meant date? What did you expect this would have been? An underground fight? But I thought. Actually, I didn't even think about it. A date usually is when a girl and boy, but not necessarily only these two, spend their free time together doing something fun, which is what we did. I had my first date without realizing. My face became white, and no words came out of my mouth. Ah, you should seriously look at your face right now. Relax, you did great, she said while patting my back. The rest of the date went smoothly. We decided to take a longer route to look at the panorama, and by the time we got to her home, it was already 1930. We reached her house, and just as I was about to say goodbye to her, she tilted her body towards me and kissed me on the cheek. Bye, hear you tomorrow. I couldn't even tell her goodbye of how shocked I was. By the time I truly realized what had happened, I was already at home in my bed. My brain calmed down a little and I checked the messages I had received from the system during the date. Silver Tongue reached level 9. I guess I am smoother than I thought. Not having much to do and it still being pretty early, I decided to complete my physical training quest and finish one of the smaller books of Dad. By the time I had finished, time was around midnight and I had gained 2 points in Street, 1 in End, 1 in Dex, 1 in Agi, a +1 in STR as a quest reward, and a +2 in Wisdom from reading the book. The only skills were Recovery and Basic Self-Heal. Changed the name from Small Recovery to this to not confuse the readers. Recovery now being at level 17, and Basic Self-Heal at level 14. Due to my new body having incredible endurance, and stamina recovery. I didn't feel even one bit tired from the training, so I decided to do something risky. Currently, my lowest physical stats are agility and dexterity, and what better way to upgrade them if not jumping from one roof to another? Several, but that's not the point. I take out my oldest clothes and a black surgical mask and I head outside, exiting through the window of my room. I start running, heading for the store area of my city, where roofs are not too far and not too close to each other. When I reach the area, I get inside a small alley, and using a trash can and the fire ladders I quickly get up the roof of the building. I look around searching for the nearest roof, and when I spot it I take a deep breath, ready my legs, and I dash. And just 1 second before I reach the end of the roof I jump, ending up. Chapter 11: Crushing a Skull. Crushing my abdomen against the border of the other building. All of the air that I collected inside my lunges got expelled, almost making me fall, but I was barely able to grab the border with my hands. I pulled myself up and rolled on the roof, catching my breath, not because I was tired but because I was scared of what had almost happened. I knew this was a shitty idea. Why am I even doing this? Plus 2 hard bones. Plus 1 pain resistance. Plus 1 parkour. Plus 3 tree points. Fuck. I thought while going back and searching for the next nearest building. The first few times I barely evaded falling from the roofs, but after parkour reached 10, and I understood the perfect moment to jump from roof to roof, I was able to move between buildings without crashing and without making too much sound. I was moving so well that I had gained 2 levels in sneak for not being discovered in a lived area. With a smile, I was just about to jump to another roof, when a shout came from one of the near alleys. Curious, I looked down at the alley, and the scene surprised me. A man with a hand shaped like a gun was pointing it at a woman and hinting at her to give him her purse. I acted on instinct, well, more Izuku's ones that fused with one, and jumped straight from the roof and landed on top of the villain. Fortunately, the buildings weren't too high, barely 3 floors, so even though I knocked out the villain I didn't hurt myself too much, only causing 1 or 2 broken bones him. I turned towards the woman and simply look at her, not knowing what to say. Tears start falling from her eyes, a smile forms on her mouth, and she shouts, "Thank you," before running away. And I did my good deed for the day. Congratulations, you have saved a life for the first time. Reward: Rookie Hero. Title: Rookie Hero Upgradable. When people look at you they see a person to look up to, that they can believe in, that they feel safe when near to. Plus 5 charm and willpower. When helping people you receive a plus 5 in all physical stats. Upgrade requirements: save 100 people. Saved 1/100. That is fucking good shit. I only saved someone, and not only I removed the negative effect from the slave title, but I also received a plus 5 in charm and an occasional plus 5 in physical stats. Suddenly, I felt a sudden change in my entire being, but not on a physical level, but a soul level? I don't know how to explain it, but I felt less distracted from the pain in my chest. I felt way less stressed from the memories of my date with Mina, and other small changes that were making me less anxious. Was this the effect from willpower raising? Has it always been like this, but the stats rising were so small I didn't notice? What if it had risen by 10? Will I feel the same when I lose the slave title? Because this feels amazing. I start hearing sirens approaching the area, so without further ado I leave the area and jump from roof to roof to get away. After I had gotten far enough I took out my phone and checked the time. Around 1 a.m. With recovery and my current endurance I need less sleep than normal. But still, considering how tomorrow will be a dungeon exploration day, I think it's for the best that I stop my hearing time for now and continue it later on. Unfortunately, I am not, for now, a machine. Using the same tactic I got right back to my house and used the window I had left open to get inside. While undressing I checked my rewards for the run back home, and I had gained another 2 levels in parkour, 1 in running, 1 point in endurance, 2 points for agi, and 3 whole points for dex. Finally, after undressing and wearing my pajama, I laid down in my bed and fell asleep immediately. I opened my eyes and used basic self-heal to remove the grogginess I was feeling, and immediately got up, checking the time on the clock near my bed. Damn, I only slept 5 hours and I feel as if I slept 7. Cool. I thought while seeing the time on the clock. I have around 1 hour before I need to prepare. Might as well complete a quest. And just like that, I started my normal training routine, ending with only a point gain in strength and a reward of 1 point in agi. I think I need to start wearing weights, or the progress will slow down. I thought while heading for the bathroom. I took a shower, washed my teeth, and wore my uniform, And just as I was about to head out, Mom put her hand on my shoulder. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Going to school?" Why was she asking? "Izuku, it's Saturday. I might be an idiot, but at least I am an efficient one, right?" Now aware of the day, I changed into the same clothes of yesterday night and headed out, telling my mother I would train. And training I will, but against goblins. I take my sword and shield and unlock 3 points of basic skill of the Guardian class. Bash LV.1, 3 points. You can't use a sword? Smash their heads with your shield. Has a chance of skill level enemies resistance to blunt damage, %, boosted by the quality of the shield and strength. Pretty straightforward, but will be useful in case the enemy gets too close. I get inside the dungeon, and just like the first time, a goblin immediately tries to surprise attack me. But this time I was ready. I evade the attack and use bash for the first time against the head of the goblin. A hearable sound of broken bones spread on the area, and soon after the goblin fell to the ground with an open skull, rewarding me with a level in bash, battle focus, and 1 tree point. I think I am ready now. Chapter 12. A berserker always fights. I heard steps coming from behind me, so I immediately activated Stomp to stun them, and use its strength to dash towards the group of goblin. A group of 5 could be seen, 2 with wooden spears, 1 with a rusty sword, 1 with a mace, and the last one with a bow. Not wishing to live the same experience as the first time, I activate shoulder charge and head straight for the one with the bow, smashing all of my body against it, and then using my sword to pierce its head, but due to the low quality of the sword, it remains stuck in its skull. I turn towards the goblin just in time to use my shield to parry the spear from piercing my shoulder. I let go of the sword and instead grab the spear of the goblin, pulling him towards me and using bash on its head, causing another crushed skull. I turn towards the remaining 2, and with a shield and spear in hand, I dash towards them. The one with the spear and sword dashed towards me, but the one with the spear got impaled by me throwing the spear at him. Wanting to test it out, I activate Intimidating Presence, which is boosted by Charisma, and due to the low resistance of the goblins, made them unable to move, only making them able to scream. I grab the spear from the one I had impaled and use it to pierce the head of the one heading the sword. The only one left is the one with the mace. Fear spread on his face. Unable to look straight at me and to move, the only he could do was die at my hands, and that's what he did. I deactivate Intimidating Presence and feel the strange feeling of struggle disappear from my mind. Using Near Stone, I sat down and relaxed a little, letting recovery and my natural endurance do their work while checking my reward from the 2 fights. I had gained 2 levels in Intimidating Presence, 4 in Battle Focus, 1 in Shoulder Dash, 2 in Stomps, and 3 new skills, them being Sword Mastery, Shield Mastery, and Spear Mastery. Sword Mastery LV.1. A weapon must be used to protect others and themselves, not to hurt those who don't deserve it. Boosts attack speed, precision, and sword sharpness by skill level % when holding a sword. Shield Mastery LV.1. A shield is used by those who wish to protect without hurting unless necessary. Boosts shield durability, movement speed of arm holding the shield, and precision by skill level % when holding a shield. Spear Mastery LV.1. A weapon held by those who wish to kill dozens if not hundreds. A weapon made purely to fight on battlefields. Attack speed, precision, piercing power by skill level %. With a smile, I grabbed both the sword and the spear and put the sword in the handle of my shield, making me able to hold the spear with 2 hands and switch in case of need. I don't move for about a minute or less, trying to understand if some goblins were heading towards me, but when I heard nothing, I sneakily moved towards the nearest group. After more or less 2 hours, I had fought 6 groups of goblins, and only got stabbed twice, which doesn't seem a lot, but still far too many for perfect survival. After fighting so many goblins, I was looking around trying to find another group while taking a look at my current skills tab. Observe LV.11. Drawing LV.1. Pain Resistance LV.40. Hard Bones LV.12 5 points. Stomp LV.11 3 points. Rock Steady LV.15 2 points. Running LV.16. Recovery LV.23. Hand-to-hand Combat LV.19. Speed Reading LV.15. Tracker LV.13. Silver Tongue LV.9. Shout LV1 10 points. Shoulder Dash LV.13 5 points. Sneak LV.12. Basic Self-Heal LV.21. Battle Focus LV.17. Parkour LV.10. Rage LV.1, 5 points. Blood Steel LV.1, 15 points. Intimidating Presence LV.5, 5 points. Mathematics LV.1. Science LV.1. Chemistry LV.1. Bash LV.11, 3 points. Sword Mastery LV.6. Shield Mastery LV.12. Spear Mastery LV.8. Fighting goblins is seriously the best way to make most of my skills level up. Shield Mastery by itself has already gained a whopping 11 levels, or is it thanks to my Guardian class? The description said makes all resistance and defense related skills grow up twice as fast. But even if I were to remove that one, Spear Mastery had gained 7 levels. And I have no effects related to spears for sure. With a happy smile I follow the tracks I had just found, which looked different from the normal goblins ones. They were bigger, way bigger. I reach the area where the tracks ended and I take a look around to find any trace of an enemy, and to my surprise, there was an enemy, a fucking ginormous goblin, and a much smaller one. The big goblin is holding a double-headed axe, while the small goblin is holding a wooden cane while wearing a black tunic. I don't think to fight them to know they are the bosses of this dungeon. The big one is most likely some form of brute, while the other one is obliviously a mage. The only true problem is his magic repertoire. I don't know what he can do or what he can cast, but just to be sure I am gonna assume he has a debuff, an offensive one, and a buff for the big one, which puts me in a sore spot. Assuming no more goblins will spawn now that the bosses are present, I am obliged to fight those two, but by how thick the big one muscles are, there is no way I am gonna kill him with a rusty sword and a wooden spear with my current stats, and that is if the mage isn't present. I was about to head out when I thought of something, and a smile formed on my face at the thought. I head back to an area I had previously visited and prepare myself for the unfolding of the plan. The goblins were doing their usual patrol after a strange presence had appeared. Their goblin had reached a point of almost non-existence, so they were obliged to head out themselves. Suddenly a way too human shout came from their right side, and they immediately dashed without even looking at each other, the big one being way faster than the small one. When he had reached the area he turned back to the mage to tell him nothing was there, but just before he could, splat. Dozens of medium-sized rocks, goblins' corpses and random weapons fell right on top of his head, injuring him to a point of almost non-return. The mage, seeing the scene, started casting a green area covering his cane. If the big one had still been awake he could have seen a shadow approaching the mage, and seen how the mage had gotten its head detached from his body. With a smile, the shadow approached the big goblin and with a lot of force pierces its head of it using its rusty sword. That shadow is Izuku, and he has completed his first dungeon without fighting the boss, like a true gamer. Chapter 13 First Gacha. With a smile, I look at the notifications and the reward from the quest I had completed. By killing a being by only using for brain and not your brawn you gain the skill, Strategy LV.1. Strategy LV.1. A fight isn't only won with power. A mere 100-foot soldier can kill even tanks if they know how to fight. When thinking of a plan to kill your enemies, your brain processing information speed will become, skill level, % faster. By killing the 2 bosses of the Goblin's Den dungeon, you have been awarded 2 gacha tickets, plus a reward for the 100% competition of the dungeon, class points, and 5 gacha tickets, weapons. Finally, 10 tickets. Let's hope something good comes out. I thought while opening the gacha section and pressing for a 10x roll. Weapons. Platinum Halberd, created for practice, boosts spear mastery leveling speed. Self-bow, it was created for defense and had a bloody past. When hitting an enemy 10% of the damage will be used to heal yourself. Stone Blade, was created for combat and training. It has no sharp edges but if skilled enough, it can easily cut through steel, boosting leveling speed of sword mastery. Steel Shield, a shield once used by a beginner adventure and fueled by their desire for growth, boosts the growth of shield mastery. Obsidian-headed throwing spear, due to its small size it can't be used for small quarters combat, but if used as a throwing weapon its true potential will be revealed, due to the runes on its body. When used as throwing weapon, winds will assist the flight of the spear, adding a 20% of hitting the target. Random. Blue pen, a pen, what did you expect? Can of Unkun Soda, again? Health potion, finally something useful, that boosts body healing speed by 10 times, causes severe stamina consumption, and can make people faint. Bracelet of Storing, every well-known cultivation MC has one, has a storage space of 10 square meters, and can be accessed only by the user's will. Another pen but black, Read the first one, but black. When I had read the weapon I had obtained, I had to contain myself from dancing, but the will to dance died down when I took a look at the reward from the random gacha, only now realizing how much random it is. 2 pens. A health potion? And a storing device from the basic wuxia novel? I sighed first and decided to receive the bracelet of storage, which looked like a simple black bracelet you might buy made of leather, and with a white pearl right at the center. I tried to order it and store my phone inside of it, and I felt my phone disappear from my pocket and most likely appear inside the bracelet. Then I ordered for the phone to be on my right hand, and it appeared right how I imagined it to be. Cool as fuck. With a smile, I stored all of the rewards, but before that, I inspected all of the weapons to see how cool they are. The platinum halberd has a pure white head with a 2 meters long red handle with intricate patterns adorning it. The self-bow has 2 wolf heads that hold the red string, the wood color black, and it strangely smelled like blood. The stone sword is exactly what you would expect but a little more complicated. It starts with the normal guard of a sword, but instead of metal a dull, very refined and heavy piece of stone is placed. The steel shield instead was simply a kite shield with no drawings or something like that on it. And lastly, the obsidian-headed throwing spear is in my opinion the coolest one. Apart from the black spearhead, its body is also fully black, but it is adorned by golden lines that look like a dragon flying. I stored all the weapons, knowing that I use all of them soon or later, and I finally got out of the dungeon. I quickly checked the time, and it is around 12 a.m., so I decide to head home to have lunch. During my walk home I also received a message from Mina. WYD? Asterisk nothing much, just finished training, asterisk. Oh then you must be all sweaty. Asterisk yeah all gross asterisk. Asterisk that wasn't what I meant asterisk. Asterisk I know but I am too pure to acknowledge it asterisk. Asterisk you just did asterisk. Asterisk don't know what you talking about asterisk. Asterisk idiot, are you busy this afternoon? A friend invited me out with her, but she will surely bring her boyfriend and I might get lonely asterisk. Asterisk the lion, the witch asterisk. Asterisk the audacity of this bitch asterisk. Asterisk anyway I think I am free, so simply tell me when I will make me find ready. Asterisk. Just the thing though, they will most likely consider us boyfriend and girlfriend, is it okay? Asterisk sure, if it doesn't bother you. Asterisk. Asterisk it surely doesn't bother me, winking emoji asterisk. Asterisk perfect, then I will be sure to be a perfect boyfriend asterisk. She then sent me a message with the time and I arrived home a few minutes later. But this time I covered the places the holes from the stab wounds, already closed thanks to my own endurance and basic self-heal. With a smile, I take a shower and eat my lunch, which had more protein than usual, a way my mom hoped to help me in my training. Next, I wore my new clothes, which consists of a tea-black shirt with a woodcutter-style jacket green and black, a pair of dark blue jeans, and lastly a pair of dark Vans. While dressing I noticed that my hair was just too long, and since I currently don't have a way to cut them I simply made a ponytail of about 2/3 centimeters to remove them from my eyes. And when I looked at myself in the mirror I looked cool. Am I becoming narcissistic, or is the effect of charm finally showing? After I had finished preparing I grabbed a book and placed it inside my bracelet, and as soon as I place it inside I receive a message from Mina telling me she is outside. Time for the second date I guess. Chapter 15 A hero always smile. I dash. Before I could say anything, she shouted in excitement. That's so cool. While on her left her friend nodded and looked at me with admiration. What? Not the being quirkless part but the part where you can do what you just did. As a quirkless person, that's incredible, she says while smiling. I am sorry for Takashi, I didn't know he was such an asshole, and that he is such a coward, you made him shit himself, literally, the girl said with an apologetic tone. No worries, the guy was looking at you strangely so it's better that it ended like this. Do you still want to go shopping? The girl's eyes sparkled and immediately said, of course. The next few hours were a daze, going from shop to shop, looking at clothes, accessories, lingerie, don't want to repeat that part, and other types of shops, all the while I was constantly used as a judge for their clothes, fortunately not for the lingerie ones, or should I say, unfortunately? Rise, the girl, and Mina were just chatting about how good the ice cream they had just bought was when a shout suddenly could be heard everywhere inside the shopping center. If you want to live, get down! Followed by 3 quick explosions that made the glass roof crack into hundreds of pieces. Everything slowed down, my brain going at full speed while being boosted by battle focus. I looked around using glasses, pieces of metal, or any reflecting surface to find who had just caused the scene. In less than 3 seconds I saw who did it. A group of 6 people either wearing nothing and just being in full mutant form, or wearing a simple jacket with jeans and being in a semi-mutant form could be seen, one of them holding what looks like the remote controller for the bombs that can be seen in films. I sprint towards the nearest piece of metal that was falling from the roof and catch it right before it touches the ground, twist the upper part of my body, and throw the makeshift spear at the nearest of the 6. I had aimed at his leg, but to the low quality of the spear, and the improper position I had used to throw it, I was only barely able to tear part of his leg. The group of 6 snapped their heads toward me, all with surprise at seeing a 16-year-old kid able to do what I had just done. I don't waste time and grab another of the tubes of metal and wait for their arrival. None seems to have a quirk for range, all look like melee fighters, 2 have what looks like endurance/strength-based quirks, and the rest all look like agility/speed-based quirks. The one holding the remote dropped it, so no more bombs. The big ones can be dealt with by hitting their joints, family jewels, eyes, or any part that doesn't look like enchanted by their quirks. The fast will be harder, but if they aren't trained then I can win in a fight of friction. One of the bigger ones starts dashing toward me, raising his fists in a hammer-holding pose. I look at the ground and see another of the pieces of metal that had fallen to the ground. Without wasting a second I kick it and make it smash against the chest of the villain. The hit is barely able to stagger him, but it gives me a second to activate shoulder charge and reach him. I use the spear in my hands to hit his hip with a swing, making him fall to the ground. He tries to swing his right arm to him but ducks, making it only scratch my cheek, causing a small cut on my face. Since the villain had thrown a punch in a bad position, he had left a big opening for me, letting me hit him right in his neck with the spear with a single thrust. His eyes split open at his temporary inability to breathe, but they soon closed after I had hit his chin. While I focused on the fight though, one of the small villains was able to get behind me and use his razor-like nails to open a big wound on my back. Thanks to pain tolerance, only a small grunt came out of my mouth, surprising the monkey-like villain. I activate Stomp, stunning all of the villains and civilians that were too near to me and allowing me to hit with the back of my spear the head of the monkey villain, making him faint right on the spot. I activate basic self-heal while looking at the nearest coming villain, only to receive a big hand right in my face. The problem wasn't the hit by itself, the problem was the wall I had crashed against. That fucking kid, why do all kids dream to become heroes? Fast, he made us waste a lot of time, pick up what you can and dash. Everyone stopped, civilians, villains, insects, fuck, even air seemed to become still. The villain that was talking, which was the one that had hit me, turns towards the wall I had been thrown at, only to see a beast in human skin. The moment I touched the ground I activated both Rage and Intimidating Presence, both of them boosting each other. Rage is surely a wonderful skill, the feeling of power that coursed right through my body was almost intoxicating, and the rage I had felt against Bakugo and Takeshi now mutating into something far scarier all pointed towards the villain group. A mad grin spreads on my face, covered by the blood falling from my head, and with a broken rib that was visible from the ripped clothes I walked towards the group. Why dash? Before he could even say one word I activate my shoulder charge and smashed myself against the big villain. Thanks to my luck the effect of the skill triggered stunning him and allowing me to pummel the spear right on his balls. His eyes became white, but right before he could fall to the ground I grabbed his hair and smashed it against the ground of his nose breaking, only making me happier. I turned towards the remaining 3 villains. They had just calmed themselves down and had the bright idea to attack me in this state. The first one got away with only a broken arm, the second with a broken knee, but the last one, the slippiest, got down after I pierced his leg with the spear. The effect of rage finally wears off and a sense of pure exhaustion fills me. The only reason why I wasn't going down is rock steady. I look around and see everyone looking at me, Mina and Rise with a worried looks fastly approaching me. I feel something pull my pants and I turn towards it to see who it was. I see a kid almost crying holding a teddy bear. "Thank you," he says while trying to hold back his tears. Forcing myself, I move my hand to his head and pat him. "Don't cry, a hero always smiles after all," I say with the kindest smile I could make. Which seemed to work considering the tears on the kid's face slowly retreating and the smile on his face. Wand I was down. Chapter 16, Meeting a Hero. I opened my eyes to a white roof. The smell of alcohol and medicines filled my nostrils, while pressure on my side made me realize that someone is here with me. I slowly looked down to notice my mom right on my side with her head low, seemingly crying. When she felt something moving, she snapped her head towards me, and before I could even utter a word, she moved at a surprising speed and pulled me in a bear-crushing hug, maybe breaking another rib. "You are okay, you are okay, you are okay, you are okay," she continued, repeating like a mantra. Maybe she thinks that if she stops I won't feel okay. "Mom, don't worry, I am fine," I say with the bit of air that remains in my lungs. She stopped repeating the mantra but continued the hug, making me smile to her affection for me. After a minute or less of hugging, a doctor and a woman gets inside the room, making us stop the hug. I look towards the doctor and then the woman, and my eyes bulged when I recognized who the woman is. Rabbit Hero, most likely the waifu of 90% of humans from my world, thick with a capital T, and with a smile similar to All Might, just a bit more savage. And why the hell is she looking at me? The doctor approached us, and after a quick checkup, he started speaking. "Well, this sure is surprising. Usually to repair a broken bone, especially a rib, it would take months. If, under the effect of a quirk, it can take from a day to a week. But yours repaired in 12 hours, and not only your rib, your skull, left lung, your back, and right leg's muscles, all of them are currently in your top shape. Truly surprising. I didn't have the time to check your previous records. Can I know your quirk?" the doctor asked with a curious face. "Well, you see, Izuku is..." My mother tried to speak but didn't have the courage to say that word, scared of what they could say to me after knowing. "I am quirkless," I stated with absolutely zero shame. The face of both Mirko and the doctor cringed, surely not expecting such an answer. The doctor started looking up his files about me, while Mirko continued to look at me. "Is that a smirk?" "Well, you surely are quirkless. Then I have to congratulate you for training so hard to reach this point. I am sure that if you wish you can become a great hero," the doctor said, not caring for my status as a quirkless. "But now I have to leave you to her," he said while pointing to Mirko. "So, kid, how did you do it?" "Well, it all started when my mom and dad met each other dash." "Not that smart ass," she said, her smirk cringing a little. "Then specify, what do you want to know?" I asked her. "How did you, a quirkless kid, beat a group composed of 6 mutant-type villains all by yourself and are still alive to tell the tale? I think you have the cameras of the supermarket to see what happened." "Oh, we do, but that still doesn't answer my question. I trained, nothing more, nothing less. The true reason why I won is that they underestimated me. When the monkey-looking guy used his nails on me, didn't put too much force. When the guy threw that punch at me, he didn't use all of his force. All small mistake that made them lose. And that I can understand, but from what you can see here," she said while pulling out a phone from I don't know where. "Does her costume have hidden pockets? On the phone, a video of when I activated intimidating presence and rage could be seen. It especially showed how the 4 remaining villains were shitting themselves at seeing me. Now, that is unexplainable. I can't answer that. I can't control emotions. Maybe I can be scary sometimes." I tell her. "You surely can," she said, looking me directly in the eyes. We looked at each other, of us backing down, until my mother coughed. "So, what can we do to you?" she asked, sweat starting to form on her forehead. "At the start I was sent here to bring him to prison for illegal use of his quirk. But he is quirkless," my mother immediately said. "And that is why I won't bring him back. Instead I would like to do something else," she said to my mother. Mirko then turns towards me, her usual savage smile forming on her lips. "Are you going to UA? You can bet on it. I coincidentally have an application for UA that would mark you as my protege, which means direct training under my wing." My eyes sparkled, not because she is Mirko. Fuck, even if Kamui Woods was here to ask the same question I would say yes, but because of her fighting style, which is completely based on moving fast and hitting as hard as you can't, and if can't move fast, just fucking tank the hit. Considering my skills, stats, and classes, her is the perfect training coach I need. The fact she is hot as fuck is only the cherry at the top of the cake. But I am already taken, so only seeing. And you are asking this because? Tough one, want to become my protege? Fuck yeah, I want to. Language. Sorry. Chapter 17. After our verbal agreement, my mother had to sign some papers since I am still a minor, but after those, I officially became Mirko's protege, and our training will begin tomorrow at the training facility owned by her hero agency. She then said goodbye, having other tasks she had to do. When I saw her leaving, I turned to my mother and asked where my phone was, worried that Mina might be worried about not hearing anything from me. "Sorry honey, your phone was crushed during the fights. I will buy you a new one as soon as we get out." And she actually did, after I was discharged, not there being any reason for me to stay there. I and my mother headed to the nearest electronics shop and she bought a new phone and a pair of Bluetooth headphones. The whole way I spent my time reinstalling all apps I had before, entering all my accounts, and other things like that. By the time we arrived home, I was able to get back nearly everything I had lost, my high intelligence helping me in remembering all the passwords, emails, and phone numbers. When I was able to get back Mina's number, I messaged her saying I was fine and this is my new phone. Surprisingly, I didn't receive an answer, but I ignored the fact, thinking that she might be simply sleeping or doing girl things. So with a free afternoon, a top-shaped body, thanks to healing quirks, and 2 quests that need to be completed, I spent the whole afternoon training or reading, but not before checking the gains from the fight, and oh boy were there some gains. New quest, be the hero. Goal, save the civilians inside the supermarket. Bonus goal, defeat all the villains. Reward, plus 30 civilians saved on the rookie hero title, 1 ticket, experience. Bonus reward, new buyable class, plus 1 class point. Observe plus 6, hard bones plus 8, stomp plus 3, rock steady plus 5, recovery plus 7, hand-to-hand combat plus 4, shoulder dash plus 2, battle focus plus 6, rage plus 3, intimidating presence plus 5, spear mastery plus 11, plus 56 tree points. Rewards obtained from quest Be the Hero. New classes, Avenger from quest Spearman, from spear mastery and battle focus reaching level 10. A smile appears on my mouth when I see the Avenger class, because if it is even 1% similar to what I think it that fuck I am seriously becoming a walking tank. Currently having 2 class points, I decide to buy the Avenger and Martial Arts class. I was tempted by the Spearman class, but I won't always be able to access a spear or get mine from the bracelet. And like I hoped, Avenger was exactly what I had hoped for. Avenger. You don't strike first, you don't move first, and you don't defend first, but when you strike, move, and defend, nothing can stop you. Effect, endurance, strength, and agility growth are multiplied by 3 times, and all fighting, moving, and defending related skills will grow 2 times faster. Martial Artist. Humans have since ancient times tried to perfect their weak bodies, trying to copy other living or not living beings stronger than them. Animals, waterfalls, fire, rocks, wind, anything. Those humans who were able to copy these aspects are known as martial artists. Effect. Wisdom grows 2 times faster. Observe and hand-to-hand combat grow 3 times faster. The smile on my face only became larger when I saw the skills that could be bought from the Avenger and Martial Artist class. Without wasting a second, I used up all the 80 tree points I had and bought skills from the Berserker, Guardian, Avenger, and Martial classes. You have bought the skill, Holy Strike, from the Guardian tree. You have bought the skill, Tear, from the Berserker tree. You have bought the skills, Avenging Strike, Back from the Dead, from the Avenger tree. You have bought the skill, Martial Arts, from the Guardian tree, which replaces the hand-to-hand combat skills, and it won't lose levels. Holy Strike LV.1, 30 points. Infuse your next strike with your own soul and goodness to deal holy damage to your enemies. Can't be seen from normal human eyes, has an AoE effect, and deals double damage to enemies that can be defined as evil. Each strike consumes a lot of stamina. Damage, 100x skill level. AoE damage, 10x skill level. Range, skill level. Cooldown, 5 minutes. Usable on every type of weapon or on the body. But if the body isn't strong enough, you will receive damage. Ter LV.1, 10 points. A Berserker doesn't need weapons, his hands are his weapons. Infuse your hands with your anger while in rage, to make you able to tear things or people apart. When in effect, your pulling force and grip strength is upgraded by 20 plus, skill level, %. Avenging Strike LV.1, 10 points. In the very first basic skill of the Avenger class, you don't strike first, but you surely strike harder. After receiving damage, your next hit will deal, skill level, % more damage. Back from the Dead LV.1, 20 points. An Avenger doesn't back down from a fight, even if it leads to his death. When your health reaches dangerous levels, this skill takes effect and will heal, 10 plus skill level, % of health. Martial Arts LV, 23, 10 points. A martial artist doesn't fight with instincts or without control, he fights knowing his capabilities and what he can do. When fighting barehanded, you will receive a bonus in attack power, speed, precision, and moving speed while consuming less stamina by 10 plus skill level, %. Immediately wanting to test them out, I activated Holy Strike, causing pure white energy to cover my hand and a burning sensation to fill my mind, but nothing I couldn't bear. I deactivated the skill with a smile, knowing I was growing stronger every day at a monstrous rate. And growing I am. Why? Because I am gonna grind until tomorrow arrives. Chapter 18: The Smile. POV? He is scary. There is no other way to define him. I can't even give the fault of this fear to his quirks. He is quirkless. His blood covering his face, the way he continues to move even with his broken bones, the way he fought, everything about him was scary. I noticed when he scared Takeshi away, but I thought nothing of it since he was defending me. But when those villains appeared, he didn't hesitate to fight, and he smiled the whole time. That sickening smile that went from ear to ear, the way it started to get covered in blood but still remained present, how it turned when it saw the child. I can't understand him. I wanted to know him because he was cute and interesting, but now I am worried. What if I anger him? Will he smile at me? I don't know what to do. While these thoughts passed through my mind, I received a message from him. I didn't open it, scared of him seeing that I had read it. Should I ghost him? What if he gets angry? I don't know what to do. Mina, get down, dinner is ready. Izuku's POV. A sigh came out of my mouth after I had just finished reading the book. Life Without Eyes. The story of a blind man and how he lived his life without his sense. Pretty boring and sad. And it's around 400 pages thick. Took me 5 hours to finish, so why did I read it? Reward, +3 perception, skill, sense acuity LV.1. Sense acuity LV.1. You might lose in one sense, but others will evolve to fix the problem. By focusing on one certain sense, it will be enhanced by 10 plus skill level %, while others will be blocked by 90 skill level %. That's why my per has remained at 15 from when I arrived. Having it higher won't hurt, and the skill I have received is pretty good as well, even though losing my other sense might endanger me based on the situation. I need to train it. I put the book on the pile that had started forming near my bed, and after checking my phone to see if Mina had at least read the message but to no avail, I went to bed, smiling at the gains from a grinding session. +6 STR, +4 end, +1 dex, +5 agi by training with weights. +2 in dex, and 1 in street by quest reward. +4 running and parkour, +3 basic self-heal, +1 recovery. Not getting as tired as before doesn't help to level up this skill, and a +5 in speed reading. I smile and decide to finally hit the sack, but not before activating a quick basic self-heal to wake up as fresh as a rose. After a quick shower, texting good morning to Mina, and getting ready, I finally headed to Mirko's training facility, but not before recovering a new quest. Due to the current host's physical stats being at or above 20, the possibility of harder training and better training instruments. Training for physical power has evolved to training for physical power but serious. Training for physical power but serious. Goal: 100 Janda sit-ups, 190-degree push-ups, 100 frontal squats, 10 minutes straight arm plank, 100 kilometers run, 10 minutes calisthenics. For every 10 kilograms of weights that hosts wear, adds a +1 to the reward. Reward +5 on random physical stats. I am so not going to feel my body by the end of the day. At least basic self-heal will gain some levels. A lot of levels. I removed the message and started running to the address told to me by Mirko, a constant smile on my face. By the time I arrived, 30 minutes had already passed and 20 kilometers were removed from my quests. And thanks to my endurance currently being at 28, I didn't even break a sweat. The building that corresponded to the address is a gym? I don't know how else to define it. There were photos of men and women training everywhere, promotions for proteins, shouts, and the smell of sweat, all things that made the structure look like a gym but futuristic due to the number of training equipment. When I got inside, I heard someone calling me, and when I turned around I saw Mirko, wearing leggings and a sports top, while her hair was styled in a ponytail. You finally arrived. Do you already have your training clothes on? I looked down and saw my black hoodie, my gray trousers, and my black and green running shoes. Yep, all on. Perfect, now undress. What? I asked her. What? I need to see how your body currently looks compared to the average quirkless male, and how much you can fare against a man with a body-enchanting quirk. Makes sense. Can we at least go somewhere more private and not here right in front of everyone? I have the willpower to do it, and not feel embarrassed, but I am not degenerate to simply get naked here. Fine, follow me, she said while turning around and starting to walk. I did what she said and followed her until we arrived at what looked like a changing room, but just for one person. Is it Mirko's? We got inside and nothing out of the ordinary could be seen. Looked and smelt like a normal changing room. She sat down on a nearby stool and looked at me while holding her head with a hand. I sighed and started removing my clothes, but when I had just removed my hoodie, Mirko started talking. Those scars? I looked at my body, only now remembering the parts from the more recent scars. I still the scars caused by Bakugo covering about 30% of my upper body. A problem that will soon be settled. I told her with no pause in my words and then continued removing my clothes. She didn't say anything, but I am quite sure she had noticed the change in my tone at the mention of the scars. Now here I am, only wearing my boxer, right in front of the rabbit hero Mirko, hoping that a morning woods doesn't arrive. Chapter 19, Training Like a Madman. Mirko gets up from the stool and approaches, looking at my body and touching some parts of it. In the meantime, my eyes became unfocused, my mind trying to distract me as much as possible and not make me have an erection. After around 1 minute, she got back on the stool and started speaking. Flex your biceps. I did as I was told. She looked at me for around 10 seconds and then continued talking. Quadriceps. Back. Triceps. After another 10 minutes, she nodded and told me to dress again. Color me surprised. Only by training and without a quirk, your muscles have already reached a good point for someone of your age. But from what I saw, your strong point isn't your muscle strength but your endurance. I simply nodded while putting on my pants, shoes, and hoodie. I guess you already have a training schedule, so go with it. But from now on you will also spend 1 hour sparring against me or people. Fighting experience is very important. And from what I saw in your fight, you have almost zero experience. Training for fighting power. Goal: fight against sparring partners and either win or impress Mirko. Reward: depends on the fighting partner and the outcome of the fight. Repeatable. So random rewards like the book one. Interesting. Go train. I will look at you and search for a sparring partner around your level. I nodded and got out of the changing room, heading towards an open area where I could do my training without anyone annoying me. And let me tell you, fuck, it's this new training hard. After 3 hours I had finished the whole training, with no weights, and I felt every muscle in my body burn, only being still able to move thanks to basic self-heal reaching level 30 and pain resistance being at 45. But as tired as I was, I am tempted to continue training because of the gains I had received from just one session. Plus 4 STR, plus 5 End, plus 3 Agi, plus 2 Dex, calisthenics, by normal training, plus 3 in STR and plus 2 in Dex reward from the quest. Officially making my strength, endurance, and agility comparable to 3 normal humans. Before anyone asks here, if someone has 10 in strength, he doesn't lift 100 kilograms because that's not average. The average is 25 kilograms for an infinite time at chin height. He can lift 100 kilograms, but that would put a lot of stress in his body. Same goes for all the other stats. I was drenched, fortunately. I had previously collected my hairs in a tail and only left a few hairs in front of my face, so I can still see easily. After recovery had finally reached level 35, I decided it was time to do another set, but just before I could, I heard Mirko's voice calling me. "Boy, come here," she said. I turned towards her and I see on her side a 5'11" guy, not too muscular but still bulky, wearing the typical revealing gym clothes, looking at me as I was a child. I head to her, ignoring the guy, knowing that I could most likely rip his throat if I activated rage. "This is your sparring partner, no need for a name, who wins, no rematch, any type of fighting is available, even dirty tricks," she said, and then took some steps back. "Be ready, kid, you are going to L-." Before he could finish, he felt something pressing against his neck. While he was talking, I had already taken a fighting stance and threw a fist at his throat, but just as the punch connected, his skin became hard like wood, causing some cuts in my hand but no damage to my bones. "You think you can win like these? You are going to L-." This time I went for a low kick, making him fall on his ass. I then immediately activated Stomp, but he evaded just in time to not get his chest crushed. He quickly got back up with way more agility than I thought he would have and went for a right hook. Let's try it out. The fist connected with my side cheek, but unlike what he expected, I remained on the same spot, not even making my hide turn. I activate Avenging Strike, a dark red aura covering my fist, not visible to them, and I threw my fist right on his stomach. But due to the low level of the skill, I only received a boost of 1%, making no difference to the hit. But my smile widened at the level of hard bones, Evening Strike, and Rock Steady. The fight went on like that, me tanking every hit but not even moving even an inch, the only proof of being hit being the visible cuts on my face and body, exchanging every received hit with an even stronger one. By the time Evening Strike had reached level 10, and Martial Arts level 30, I delivered an uppercut right on his chin and made him fly 2 meters away. When I saw him not rise up, I sighed in both sadness and happiness. Happiness because I defeat him, sadness because I lost my grinding machine. In just one fight apart from the already told skills, Rocksteady and Hard Bones had reached level 30. Mirko headed for the guy and did a quick checkup to see if he was breathing. When she felt the breath, she moved towards me with a smile. If I didn't know you were quirkless, I would say you have either an endurance-based quirk or a pain nullification one, because what I just saw made my blood boil in excitement. Want another round? No thanks, I feel the bones in my hands almost breaking. Same goes for most of my body. It's a surprise they already didn't break. Anyway, go do a checkup on the infirmary and then you can head home. You have finished for today. Training for fighting power. Reward, Hard Skin LV.1. Hard Skin LV.1. Your skin has been put through hard training, making it harder than normal humans, lowering chances of being cut by skill level %. One step closer to becoming a tank. Chapter 20: The Realization. After saying goodbye to Mirko, I got outside the gym and started heading home. But before I could, I received a message from Mina. We have to talk, come to the park near your house. And that was the drop that made my overthinking come back again. I had already been anxious about my relationship with my Mina due to her not answering my messages. But now? I don't know what to think. Now, apart from my feeling like shit, my mind is in turmoil, a headache starting in my mind, and my willpower barely making me move. Why is fighting villains and killing monsters easier than dealing with people? Why am I like this? Why can't I be normal? While hundreds of thoughts went through my mind of all the things I could have done, and all the things she might want to talk about, my body went on autopilot, heading straight for the park mentioned by Mina. Using all my strength, ignoring my body's refusal, and simply moving on instinct and sheer anxiety made me reach speeds never before. By the time I arrived at the park, just 20 minutes had passed, and with a heavy breath, I started searching for her. And there she was, bags under her eyes, holding her phone stronger than usual, her right foot anxiously moving. She is anxious. Did something happen? Even more thoughts formed in my mind. Did Takashi do something? Is her mother okay? Does she need help? I headed for her and called her name. She heard my voice, her whole body froze, and when she turned to look at me, her eyes said everything. All the thoughts converged at one point, the scariest possibility that I thought about, and the one I wished for the least to happen. She is scared. Midoriya. I guess you saw the message. I didn't look at her, no words being able to come out of my mouth, recognizing the incoming panic attack. Why am I so attached to her? I have known her for less than a week. Is this because of Izuka's emotions and memories? Are they affecting me? Or was I so emotionally detached that just feeling a bit of love made me in such a sorry state? I don't know, but I want to know. I think we should take a break. Okay, I told her, my voice coming out more broken than I intended it to be, having quite a hard time controlling all of the emotions I am feeling in just one sitting. Anger, sadness, confusion, pain, sorrow, and other emotions all explode inside my head. I am sorry, but... She tried to explain, but when she looks at me, she gets too scared to talk. I caused this. It's my fault. How can I wish for a relationship when I can't even control my powers? When I am so weak? Is it all? I asked her. Yes. She finally said, not even being able to look at me straight. I nodded and started walking away, my mind in daze, unable to form a complete train of thoughts without being interrupted by another one. What had started as a slow walk became a fast walk, then a jog, then a run, and then ended in a madman running for his life. By the time I had regained consciousness, I found myself in a forest, but I ignored the fact and instead shouted with everything I had, unknowingly using the shout skill for the first time. A beast-like roar came out of my mouth, scaring the little animals, making anxious the medium-sized ones, and angering the big ones. A few seconds later, a bear the size of my room appeared. A bear? Here? I don't fucking care. I just wish to fucking beat something. I instantly activated Rage, Tear, and Holy Strike, and dashed towards the bear using Shoulder Charge. The bear didn't expect it, and took the hit right in his nose, stunning him. Before he could understand what even happened, I grasped his lower and upper mouth and started pulling, using my full strength and anger to break his jaw. When the crack was produced, a mad laugh formed on my face. My now blood-covered hands grasped its tongue and pulled with full force. Asterisk roar. On my hand a bare tongue could be seen, still twitching. I throw in on the side and use shoulder charge again. This time through the bear moved and used one of his paws to slash at my shoulder, creating a deep wound. But still too angry to even care about the pain, I pushed through, used my hands to pierce the right eye of the bear. The feeling of having a hand inside a bear's eye was disgusting but satisfactory at the same time. Using my body weight and the effective tear skill, I pushed the bear onto the ground and got on top of him, and started punching its face, again and again. In the meantime, the bear tried to get me off, slashing my back and legs but only revealing even stronger attacks in exchange thanks to Avenging Strike. After a minute of punching, the bear stopped moving, but I wasn't satisfied, so I continued, and continued, and continued, and continued, and by the time I came back to my sense, I wasn't feeling my hands, legs, back, basically everything. Below me, an enormous bear missing its head, now reduced to paste and bones, could be seen. I activated basic self-heal and started thinking again, now realizing what Mina was so scared of. I am a monster, but so what?
Akira here. This is the end of part 1. If you enjoy the story, we would appreciate it if you liked the video. Also, please support the original author for this amazing work. I have put their Patreon and the web novel link in the description. Thank you and have a great day.